Hi there, I'm Miriam and welcome to Miriam's Manor. Today I am doing a video that was requested by a subscriber. So Shantae Brown, this video is for you. You had sent me a comment that I realized is a very good topic to do a video about. Her question was, how do I light up dark spaces in my village? What are some of the things and options that I can use for lighting? So I thought I would make a video out of it because I believe that all of us, once we get our villages to a certain size, a lot of us run into this problem, especially those of us who build mountain displays or lake scenes and things like that, where we don't necessarily have a lot of buildings on those platforms because they are wilderness areas, but we still do want them to be lit, because some of the most beautiful times for us to enjoy our villages are in the evenings when the lights are low and our village is lit up and we can just really appreciate all the beautiful little twinkling lights. And then our eyes are panning over our village and then boom, there's a big dark spot and you can't see anything that's there, none of the detail you created. So this is what I want to help you with today. So there are a number of different lighting options and things that you can do to prevent this problem. So first of all, I'm going to run through the different types of lights that we have, and then I'm actually going to pan back on my village for you guys. I'm so thankful that my village is still up. It is normally down by this time of year for sure, but it is actually really going to help with this video today because I can show you how I use some of the same lights that I'm going to show you now, how I incorporated those into my village behind me this past year to illuminate those dark spots in my village. So I will show you with the lights on in that area and then what it looks like with it off, so you can see the impact that those certain lights made in that area. So my number one thing that I want to start with are for sure these spotlights from lemax. Now these spotlights, I have the cord all wrapped around tidy, but these come with about a 2 to 3 foot cord, and they do spread out that far away from each other. So these lights are fantastic to use because first of all, you do not have to put them next to each other. Like I said, they span a distance far enough away where you can light up one side of your village and go light up a different side of your village. But also, they do cast a pretty bright light. This whole piece here just shines in a nice way, and it will really light up an entire area. And then if you have two in the same area, it just makes it that much more bright. So if you have a park scene, a mountain scene, and a lake where that's kind of all you have in that area, this will be a perfect option. Now, some of you are probably asking yourself, yeah, but who wants to see just lights popping up everywhere? So I'm going to tell you how I hide mine. My favorite thing to do with these particular lights, which is done all throughout this village and even for my nativity scene that I just did, I will wrap this cord around a tree trunk or run it up the back of the tree so it's not visible, and kind of put a little dab of glue on it to keep the cord in place, and put the light in the canopy. And I will hide the actual light in the shrubbery of the canopy and just have the light casting down. I love that effect because when the light casts down, it casts a broader range of light in an area, and the light itself is not visible at all. All you see is that little area of space being illuminated instead of the actual light itself. If you do have to use this on the ground because you might not have a big shrubbery tree like I like to put these in trees with large canopies. So if you have evergreens that you're trying to do this with, you can still do it with an evergreen, a bigger evergreen, but it is more noticeable. But you can run these on the ground. And another way that I like to use these is underneath a snow blanket. So I will literally cover the entire part except for the open light source with the snow. And then again, I will cascade the light looking up or shining directly out on it. Whatever object or scene that I'm trying to illuminate, I will then shine it in that direction. These lights are fantastic because their heads swivel all the way around 360 degrees, but they also tilt up and down. So it gives you a lot of range and a lot of versatility. Now, this is a battery pack here that it does operate, but because Lemax is so awesome, they have AC adapters for these things. So this little hole that you see on the side of this, that's what this is for. It's for you to plug the AC adapter in, and now you can run this through your outlets instead of batteries. Now, for those of us who have had a ton of battery stuff in our village, you know the pain of going through your village and cutting on all these different battery sources. I, at this point, only have 2 things that are battery operated in my village. One of them was a gift from my mother that I am sentimental over, so it's hard for me to part with. So every year I just turn that one thing on. And this year I did add some different types of lights that I will actually be showing you later on in this video that are battery operated. But I did put them on the end, so it's right there, boom, easy for me to flip the switch to turn those lights on. So one thing that I also want to make mention of these AC adapters, if you guys do buy them, make sure you're buying the right AC adapter for whatever light source you are using. There are different types of AC adapters. These green ones are the more powerful ones, and then there's some yellow ones too that you can buy. In the description, and I know for a fact on eHobby Tools, they always do a good job of telling you, if you're looking at this particular thing to buy, which AC adapter matches it if you want to use it. So that's good information for you guys. Also, these AC adapters have super long cords. Look at this. Look at how long this is. And I don't even have this all the way unwound here. And this gives you a long cord to run to the wall or your power strip, but it also gives you a pretty good length in here to split these apart. Now, these are 3 AC adapters running off of 1 power supply box. Again, I highly recommend being efficient, doing it this way if you have a number of different things you're going to be running off of AC adapters. That way it takes up less space on your power supply box and reduce the number of cords that you're working with in your village. So that's option number 1. The other thing that I want to mention about this too, which I do have, and I'll show you guys, these also come in blue. And last year I did use the blue spotlights at the top of my village because a lot of my carnival pieces had blue lights on them that were just beautiful. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get some blue spotlights since all the rest of those lights up there are blue, and keep kind of that whole top area at the very top illuminated in blue. And it was really beautiful. It was really a cool and calming effect. So option number 2 for another good powerful light source is this filled light. Now, this is also a Lemax product. So again, dun, 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 you can plug this in this hole here with an AC adapter, which I absolutely love. The other thing that I really love about this filled light, this gives off a ton of light. It sits tall, and it's not something that you have to hide in your village, because these types of lights, if you put it in the right scene, are very natural to have. If you have a park scene, a recreational area, this is a very good idea to add this type of light, because we always see these types of lights everywhere in our parks. And the other good thing about this is these lights toggle back and forth, up and down. So you can put these in a direction, whatever direction, individually as you need them to shine light on. So I love this thing because I feel like this particular light allows you to cheat a little bit. So if you have a park scene that you want to put this in a park, but you might also have a part of your neighborhood that is a little bit dark, but you wouldn't maybe normally want to put this light in your neighborhood, you can just steal a couple of these, cast them towards your neighborhood, and then put the other 3 towards your park. So this is a really good versatile light. Because it's already tall, you can use it to cast down, which again casts a broader range of light for you. And it's just such a cute accessory in the right scene as well. So this one is a really good option. Option number 3 are just our regular street lights, the little street lanterns. This particular one does give off a more cool light look. Now, the ones that I have put up behind me, like here, and you can see them also here, those are a more amber type of light. So when you are buying those types of street lights, make sure that you're just being mindful of what type of light you want to have illuminated in that area. Excuse me. Some people do not like mixing white with cool lights with warm lights. So just make sure that you're being mindful of that in the description, and read the descriptions when you're buying these. There's so many different styles of these lights, and I do have to say that some of them do shine brighter than others. Like, I know these particular ones do shine brighter than the ones that I have in the front here. But I do love using them because they do still give, especially kind of put closely together the way that I have mine here. It does give that light up like my whole street. So whatever I put underneath those is definitely getting illuminated by the light. If I have figurines or a little coach and buggy, all of those things are definitely lit up. I also use these in my neighborhoods as street lights for my neighborhoods. And they do offer a good amount of light for sidewalks and different things like that. So these are definitely a great option. And there's so many awesome, beautiful styles that you can buy of these. Now, another option that you can go with are something like this. These are fairy lights. Now, this is the actual little light source right there, that little ball in the middle. That is the actual light. So you can see how tiny that is. But putting these all together brightens an entire space. So some of the ways that I have seen people use these is they will put this underneath a layer, like a snow blanket. And it illuminates that snow blanket without being able to see a hard light like a Christmas light. If you put a Christmas light underneath the snow blanket, it's definitely going to light up the space, but you're also going to see the shape of that bulb. These lights are so tiny, it's going to illuminate the space and just give everything like a soft glow, where it's harder to see each individual light. So it does look a little bit more natural. So I do like the fairy lights for that reason. Also, I have seen people make, especially for their ski resorts, using this on poles throughout their ski slope and lining their ski slope with these, which is so super cute. I want to say Amanda did that in her ski village that she sent me like 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was Amanda who did it. And she sent me the picture and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that so much. She took dowel rods, painted them black, and then ran these lights across the top of the dowel rods and created a pathway for her skiers going down her ski mountain. And it was so adorable. So these are another option. Now, when you're buying these off of Amazon, you can see it has a battery pack, but there are some that do come with remotes. This particular version does have a remote, which again is going to make it easier for you to turn this on and off. If just spend the extra $2. Trust me, it's worth it to get the remote, so that when this is tucked off somewhere far back in your village that you're trying to light up, you don't have to crawl under a table or anything like that, or reach over things to try to get to the back to turn this on. You can just turn it on and off by your remote system. And one of the last things that I want to go over with you guys before I show you this stuff in my village are these types of lights. Now, these are the lights that light up our buildings. I do not use ever the lights that come with my building because I do not like using singular lighted cords. I do not like a sea of cords underneath my table. I have far too many buildings that I use in one village setup every year to use individual lights. I buy these at Walmart. This is a 6-pack of lights that's on one light cord. And I believe the price is on here. Yeah, so this was $6 for 6 lights. A great price, and it tremendously cuts down how much space it's taking up on your power supply or your power strip. So I highly recommend you guys, even if you can't buy these every year, I buy one of these, I think, pretty much every single year, and I just start converting stuff out. Even if you can buy one a year to begin with, start somewhere. You're going to thank me later. This is going to save your life if you are still running each individual cord with each house. If you have buildings that are lined up like this is the perfect type of setup to use these, because you're just boom, 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 popping them all in, and there's about 12 inches between each light. If you needed more space, you can run the cord underneath and take out one of the lights, and the whole strand still works. So you can skip a light if you need 2 feet of space in between each light and still use this cord and just take one of the light bulbs out. And all of the lights still work just fine. I did have one subscriber tell me, I think Oliver, a couple of years ago when I first started, that he uses the C-7 Christmas lights, and he will use an entire 50 strand of lights to light up his whole village. So that's another option. So then you only have one cord that you're dealing with at the end of the day. But a lot of Christmas lights, if you take one out, then the rest of them don't work if you needed additional space in between, if you don't want to have just a bunch of Christmas lights hanging around your village. So that is something to consider. But if you have a space where you're lining up a bunch of buildings kind of just in rows, one tier in the front and then maybe a second tier higher, and you've got a ton of them, that might be a good option for those of you who have those types of setups. That way you're dealing with one cord, and it's going to save you so much time and energy. So for those of you who are beginner villagers, this is probably the biggest tip that I can give you when it comes to lighting. Try to keep all of your lighting, and even your buildings for that matter, on a power supply that can be plugged into the wall. You are going to tire of batteries. And as your village grows, which every village does, for those of you who started villaging recently and your village has grown, please put that in the comment section, especially for those new people who are villaging, so y'all back me up on this. Your village is going to grow. This is such a fun and addicting habit or hobby. And you can't help when you see something so super cute, and if it's on sale, you're gonna go, oh my gosh, I need that. Or I'm gonna ask for that for Valentine's Day or for my birthday or whatever else. And it just grows. And if you have houses and accessories and all of those things running off of batteries, it is going to be a bear to go around and turn on 10 to 15 different things, flipping switches for stuff that runs on batteries. Now, if you are putting your village on a tabletop surface, on your actual dining room table where you really don't have a choice, batteries are gonna work fine for you in that space, especially because there's no power supply there for you to run a cord, obviously, if you're eating dinner still at that table and you want it as your centerpiece. But a dining table is easily accessible on both sides to get to. But if you're doing any type of setup, even on a 4x4 table, like my children's village sizes, it still can be a bear to reach to get to the back of something that's up against a wall. So I would advise you, that would be my biggest advice for any new villager. Try to run everything that you can off of a power source, because then you can get timers that you can plug into the wall for your village to come on and off at a certain time. or the outlets that come with remotes that you can plug your power strip into, so that you can just turn everything on and off by the click of a button, and it will save your life. And I feel like you enjoy your village longer that way. And again, y'all back me up on this. When I had my village and I had a ton of stuff that ran off of battery, I wouldn't turn it on as often. I would turn it on a couple of times a week, or definitely as we got closer to Christmas, my kids really enjoyed it, so I would turn it on more that way. But I noticed that I would turn it on every day when I could just click a button to turn everything on. It was so easy for me to enjoy, to just have my cup of coffee, come sit down on my couch in here or one of the chairs and just enjoy it and not climb under tables to turn everything on. So that is my 2 cents. You could take it for what it's worth. But I do hope that you find that valuable, because over the course of me doing this this will be my 6th villaging season. For me personally, I've learned a lot because I grew my village fast. And so some of the things that as I learn them, I always just try to share it with you guys to make your job easier for setup, tear down, as well as the enjoyment of your actual village. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I am going to turn some of these lights off. I'm going to let you see the before and afters of some of these lighting techniques that I have used throughout my village space. The first part that I want you to focus on is my ski slope. Now you can see it's pretty dark. Now when you pan over here to the right on this side of my village, everything is all bright and lit up because of the amount of buildings that I have in this space. But when you look back at my ski slope, this whole space would have remained dull had I not added the additional lighting. So I have no buildings on this ski slope at all, and I do have my ski lodge right there at the very top, but it is the only thing that I have that's lit up in this entire space all the way down. So I'm going to turn these lights on so you can see the difference, and I will take you up close to show you what I did. These lights I tucked underneath the snow to create a lighted path that follows my ski racing net. I hot glued them down in place to the particle board that's underneath the snow. And I did show this whole setup in a video last year that I'll link that video in the description box for you guys. So I put the battery pack to these lights underneath the snow blanket up here at the top, so it's super easy for me to reach. I just turn that little switch on, pat the snow down, and boom, I am done. So from this angle, now you can see what a big difference those lights make. Now, these lights do have a few different setting options. I chose the flashing option because I thought it looked fun for the space. Now, also, another thing I did in this area was add a blue spotlight to the top of the ski mountain. I will go ahead and turn that on now so you can also see the difference that makes as well. So this is how that blue light looks now, lighting up the gazebo up top. Like I was saying before, I added the blue to keep it consistent with my carnival rides over here to the right. Now, if I used the white spotlight, it definitely would have lit up this whole space a lot more. And one of the other things that I totally forgot to mention to you guys for lighting for this video are doing the stars. Look at my awesome stars up here, you guys. This definitely lights up your village, especially from behind. So if you have not seen the video on how I did this, I will put the link to this video in the description box. So I'm bringing you up close so you can see the actual light. Now I'm pulling this snow blanket back so you can see how I just hid that actual light by tucking it underneath the snow blanket. And now it's casting the light on my cute little couple kissing in front of the gazebo. So my vineyard is another spot that I used hidden lighting for. And you guys, this is still one of my favorite builds. I just love the way every detail in this build turned out. But as you can see, there is only one building on this entire base, so it's harder to make some of these details out. So can you guys see where I hid the lighting on this base? If you haven't been able to spot them yet, let me go ahead and show you where they are. So I have this little deer family that is tucked behind this grouping of trees, and they're harder to see without the light. So I hid the spotlight in the canopy above the deer to highlight them. But when you take a step back and just look at it, it's not as noticeable until I point it out to you. The other light is in this canopy of this tree, and I really have to move things out of the way in order for you to see it. So this light is cascading down over the gentleman and over the lake area. And so now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the spotlights so you can see the difference that it makes. So now that the lights are all turned on, you can clearly see my little deer family, which is what I was aiming for, especially the one eating out of the bush. It's so cute. Even when you look at this from the front view now, which would be the side view of the vineyard, they're clearly visible when you're looking at the village from the front on. So when you come to the right side of this space, you can see now that the gentlemen are more lit up. The lake area is definitely more lit up. And this is even helping light up some of that next level into my petting zoo area. This was another area that I wanted to show you that does get a little bit dark because it has no buildings whatsoever on these two levels. So right in front I have the petting zoo, and then right behind it the tin can alley. So in between I added these street lamps to give this a little bit more light to this space, but also, like I said, this light from this tree is also helping light up some of this area here so that it's not dark when you look at it from the side. Now moving on to the neighborhood, I also added these lampposts around the park area, as well as I added 2 spotlights facing diagonally into the park. This is a pretty large park size area, and I wanted to make sure all of these pieces were lit. I did not cover the bases for these. I didn't think they needed it being behind the black fence, but taking a step back, you can see how it really lights up this space. So this is the last view that I wanted to show you in this video. I have lined this entire 8-foot table with the exact same street lamp all the way down, which I think is absolutely stunning. So as I slowly pan, it opens up the row of lights, and it makes for a dramatic show of lights for this scene going all the way down. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you really did find this information useful. I am going to try to do more videos like this as we are preparing in the off season for our village season that is coming very soon. So that way you can start incorporating some of these tips into your 2022 Christmas village. For those of you who have any additional ideas that I did not cover in this video, please leave that in the comment section so that as we're all reading it, we can all take note of that and add those things. I will also gather whatever comments that you put in that comment section and share it with the rest of the group, maybe in another video. So please definitely leave your tips and suggestions that work for you as well. And if you guys have any questions for me, as always, leave me a line in the comment section. I will get back with you. I am going to go ahead and link in the description box the videos that show me setting up this village with these different types of lighting techniques that I discussed with you. That way you guys can refer back to those videos. And they definitely have a lot more detailed information of the whole setup of this whole thing. So if you're interested in that, those will be in the description box. I also will go ahead and link these lights that you see here. I will put the links for those in the description box that I went over today, so that if you would like to purchase those, you're able to do that as well. And don't forget, you guys, that I am on Etsy. So I do have an Etsy page where I sell seasonal wreaths. There are wreaths on there right now for summertime, as well as a few for Christmas, but I also sell Christmas village bases on my Etsy page as well. So what I have on there now are what is left, and I only have like one left of each kind, and I will be creating an entire new line this year that I will probably be releasing for Christmas in July. So if you see something on there that you like now, there's only one left. Get it while it lasts. And for those of you who may want to see what I have coming out, again, like I said, I'll be putting 4 different types of bases together for, I think, this Christmas season to kick off Christmas in July. So I'll put my Etsy information down below on the screen, and I will also put that link in the description box of this video. And of course, definitely leave me a line if you have any questions. And until I see you again, stay safe, God bless you, and I will see you soon. Bye.